The toughest material to forge in the blade forging competition is none other than the Devil's large steel cable. This material is extremely loose, and combining it can be said to be a truly hellish level of difficulty. But when it comes to what scares the contestants the most, it has to be this nightmare cage steel. In this competition, the production team not only required the 4 contestants to use this material, but also demanded that they each use their own techniques to extract the metal can inside the cage and forge a distinctive short blade, using the forging craftsmanship of turning the iron can into Damascus steel. As soon as the host gave the order, the 3-hour competition timer started. The contestants quickly stepped forward and tried every means to cut the cage steel. Faced with such hard steel, Jack realized that using an angle grinder to cut it would waste a lot of time, so he chose to use a blowtorch to fiercely burn the marked spots. He soon extracted the iron can inside the cage. Next, he applied a release agent on the inner wall of the iron can. After it dried completely, he loaded the twisted cage steel into it. Then he poured in steel powder, sealed and welded it, and put it into the furnace for forging. Seeing how fast Jack was moving, the other contestants also switched to using blowtorches to extract the steel. The second one to extract the iron can was Seven. He also chose the release agent method for extracting the can, but unlike Jack, Seven cut the cage steel into small pieces and then mixed them with steel powder to complete the loading. Alan was the third to extract the iron can. He didn't apply a release agent. Instead, he directly mixed the steel powder and loaded the steel. This way, he could save the time of extracting the can and also reduce the risk of failure. In contrast, Leo was rather stubborn. He used an angle grinder to cut for half an hour, but failed to remove the iron can. Finally, under the pressure of time, he switched to using a blowtorch. At this time, Alan had already heated the steel billet red hot and started forging it on the machine. The steel billet fused perfectly since he hadn't applied a release agent. After confirming there were no issues, he directly used a power hammer to stretch and lengthen it, moving very quickly. On the other side, Jack was equally swift. After fully heating the steel billet, he quickly used a stamping machine to forge and fuse it. Then, without waiting for the steel billet to cool down, he directly took out a blowtorch and started spraying fire on the outer skin of the steel billet. Under the high temperature, the outer mild steel gradually melted and peeled away. It was only at this point that the judges realized that he was using the difference in melting points between the inner and outer parts of the steel billet to extract the can. But this technique was very risky. A slight lack of control over the blowtorch rate could ruin everything. Fortunately, Jack was highly skilled, and there were no problems throughout the process. On the contrary, things weren't going so smoothly for Seven. During the forging of his steel billet, flames actually shot out. This should be because he didn't handle the sealing properly, allowing oxygen to enter the can. After realizing the cause, Seven immediately reinforced the seal, but no matter how he dealt with it, the flames still didn't disappear. At this time, Leo's steel billet also had problems. Although his steel billet had fused perfectly, he was stuck in the can extraction stage. Due to the overly tight welding, the outer mild steel just couldn't be removed. Seeing time flying by, he had to make a risky decision.